Hey everybody, welcome to another Photoshop CS6 tutorial. I'm your host, Buddy Blackford, and in this lesson we're going to learn about changing the image size and resolution of your images and how to change the canvas size as well, because they're both around the same area. So might as well go over them both. So what I'm talking about, I want to maybe make this a little smaller or even possibly make this a little bigger. So let me take down this welcome to Photoshop part, and we just got this picture of the two cool looking girls. So let's go up here to our options up here and go to image and click on that, and we're going to come down here to image size, and you can see that the hotkey for Windows is Alt Control and I, so that would be Command Option I on a Mac. So click on that, and we've got the ability to change the width and the height of our image. So something that I wanted to show you guys is that when you see this locked button over here, it looks like it's supposed to be like a locked symbol. This constraint proportions checkbox here toggles that, and you mainly almost all the time want to have that on because it will constrain the proportions of your image, which means that your image won't be all distorted. So I'll show you real quick let's just make this a little bit smaller. I'll make this like 1,000, and then this, because it's constrained proportions, will be 667. I'll hit OK, and then as you can see, it made it smaller. Now I'm gonna go to edit, undo to get it back to where it was. Now if I go to change the image size again, but don't constrain the proportions, and then I hit OK, you can see that the image has now been squished, and now it is distorted looking. So that's why you usually want to have constraint proportions on. I mean, if you have just an image of I don't know, like a solid color or something like that, then worrying about distortion doesn't matter as much, or anything that's not like a photo. So mainly with photos, you always want to have the constraint proportions on. So let's go back to the image size, and let's put constraint proportions on, and then we can increase the size. And Photoshop does a good job of keeping the image quality intact. One, because it's a smart object right now, and two, because we have a setting on there that I'm going to tell you about. But as you can see, I was able to increase the size of this image and still keep some pretty good photo quality in it. So let's go back to undo, and let's go back to our image size. Down here at the bottom, there is this drop down menu that has a bunch of different types of resampling, which is if you uncheck this box where it says resample image, this will no longer be available. So if you want to resample the image here, which helps keep the nice quality of your image when you scale it up or scale it down, so you want to make sure you have that checked. Now, bicubic automatic is the new one in Photoshop CS6, and it's the default, and it gives you the best. It's like the best one for most things that you use, and it gives you high quality. Now we got a couple other ones here, and they give you an idea of what they are good for. So nearest neighbor, it's best for quick results with low quality. Bilinear is good for line art, if you're just trying to make a bunch of graphic design using lines. Bicubic is best for smooth gradients, and bicubic smoother is good for if you want to enlarge your image, and bicubic sharper here is good for reducing the image while keeping high quality results. So that's what these mean. Most of the time you just want to stick with bicubic automatic because it's kind of like the all-in-one tool that'll help you do like almost everything. So one other thing, we can change this to percentage. So maybe you don't know the exact pixels you want, but your client was like, reduce that size by 50%. So we can go 50% there, and it'll reduce it by 50%. So that's another great thing. Now let's come back into our image size here, and we've got our resolution down here that we can also change. Now I can bring this down to maybe like 72 pixels per inch and hit OK, and it'll lower the resolution, and then you can see that it also lowers the amount of size. So if you remember, if you watched the previous tutorial where I told you that I was working on a logo for someone and I did it in 72 ppi, and then I had to change it to 300 ppi because she wanted it on print, that pretty much I had to, when I changed it to 300 ppi, it like way blasted up the size of the logo, and then it made it a little less resolution in it, so I had to redo it again. Now one thing when you are using the when you're trying to change just the resolution, you may not want to have resample image on, because it's not needed when you're trying to fix the resolution. That way we don't have to have any more extra processes going on while we're doing this. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now I want to show you how to adjust the canvas size. Go to image, and right below image size is canvas size. Now we can do this in inches, and then we got pixels, we got percent. I'm going to put it to percent right now. I'm going to increase the canvas size by 100%, 150%. And if I hit relative, oops, should have hit relative earlier. Let's put this back to 100. Now click on relative, and when you click on relative, it brings it down to 0, so that now you can increase. Let's go to 50, and maybe 50 here. Hit OK, and it increased the actual canvas size. So let me zoom out using the zoom tool here, and the canvas, all it is pretty much is basically just something for you to work on. Kind of think of it as like if someone's painting a portrait or something like that. This is the canvas, and this is just the amount of space they have to work on. You can always turn off your canvas or whatever, but this is what's going to show up. This is what, like anything outside the canvas is not going to show up when you try to save your image. So that's how you edit your canvas size. Let's go back into it, see if there's anything else we need to nothing else really that we need to check out. Just remember that relative will set it down to 0, so that way you can work with it a little easier. It's pretty much your preference. So that's all for this tutorial. We talked about image size, resolution, and canvas size, and how to change all those. So thanks for watching this tutorial, everybody, and have a good day.